Hello Taurus, great to see you. To all the Taurus subscribers, I've just been doing some meditation, sending great energy and strength your way to the Taurus subscribers. It's a storm out here where I am tonight, and it looks about as if it's going to start raining, so expect rain. I love doing readings during the rain, and actually I've done some readings for some of you Taurians, haven't I, since the last month's reading, and it's been my great pleasure, and thank you also for recommending me to your friends. If you'd like to have a personal, private, one-on-one reading, then just check out the information in the description box and you'll see how easy it is. Now, you know that when I do the tarot, I use astrology, because I think I don't use astrology as in this planet moves around like this, but the astrology is like icons on the desktop, that moving this icon to here doesn't just mean that icon has moved, but there's a whole lot of things going on. In the same way, the astrology for me is a icon, I suppose, for very deep spiritual energy which is coming underneath. Now, there are also runes in this deck and Chinese I Ching, as well as there's the Five of Swords, as well as biblical Hebrew letters, which have deep meanings as well. So we'll see what some of these have to say. There's the Nine of Wands. Okay, it's quite interesting coming through for you. Brahma, the Father of Wands in the east. This is the Ace of Swords in the south. And finally, what is there? Let's see, this one here, I think. Oh, lovely, the Hanged Man. Okay, here comes the rain, so let's get this reading underway. Okay, can you see now the playing cards are here just for their energy, whereas the tarot is, of course, what we're doing. Now, I'm going to look at this first card here for you now, and I think this has come up really for something to you to think about, really, rather than as something that's going to be occurring to you. It may be in a minor way that you do experience some of the things, but it's balanced by this card here, which I'll get to in due course. This is the Five of Swords. Now, if we have a look at the five, what we see in this image here, let me see if I can have a look at it. Well, the broken swords represent technology. The ancient unicorn is dying. The bubble is tainted with blood. Now, if I look at the astrology of this card, and I'll get to that hexagram in the bottom left-hand corner in a moment or so. If I look at the astrology of this card, then I have to say this, that I have Venus in the first decan of Aquarius, the 22nd of January to about the 29th of January. Well, Venus rules Taurus, which is an earth sign. But here we have Venus ruling an air sign. Aquarius is the fixed sign of air, and these two are at odds. Venus is a lover and not a fighter, whereas Aquarius is a rebel ruled by Uranus, and Aquarius is a fighter, usually for causes. So the individualistic, dispassionate nature of Aquarius clashes with Venus, the planet of relationship. Venus, I think, I'm looking at this number 5 here, the Five of Swords. That mystically has an association with the planet of Mars, for me, the fiery planet of Mars. So Venus is also overwhelmed by that fiery and dispassionate nature of Mars. So we don't really have astrological harmony in this card at all. So I think there's something where there's possibility of a feeling of defeatism or negativity or arguments or troubles or feeling as if there's been some defeat or somehow feeling broken. Now there's a possibility here, and You need to be aware of this, that there's a possibility of not standing up for yourself when it's right that you do so, so you should do something about that. And sometimes that may not apply to you, but in this spread here I have something of a feeling of selfishness from other people, or in fact you may even be having thoughts of revenge on somebody else. But I think that really the essential element of this card is about fear. Yeah, really fear. And fear distorts your view of the present, doesn't it? And of the unknown in your future. The Five of Swords here could well relate to, well, possibly a betrayal or a sneak attack by someone you trust and do not suspect as being your enemy. Your fear may be the result of losing control emotionally due to previous hurts from relationships, or it could be connected with the workplace where you've had an experience which stops you from expressing yourself fully as your confidence has been lost. And if you can let go of the feeling of fear, then the energy that's bound up in this card will be released. And although swords relate to the mind and to mental things, and it's possible that there could be a time when there's some sort of mental turmoil that you're going through, it can relate to the emotions as well, because I have Venus in Aquarius, and Venus, of course, relates to the emotions, and her planet means that it could well be there. So that's something to think about. Now, the question is, what do we make of this I Ching hexagram? And let's have a closer look at it. Now, these I Ching hexagrams, hex for 6, often appear as 6 lines, although you can read them in couplets or individually, or 3 and 3, but I'm going to do it here as 6. The broken lines are generally the feminine principle. The unbroken lines are the masculine principle. Now this hexagram here really is an image to me, I think, of oppression, like a sort of a dried up lake bed with scavenger crows stalking the shoreline. Hard times can shrivel your spirit and give rise to a multitude of crows in the form of troublesome worries. Times of loss or personal failure can break some people, but not you. But the strong of heart as you are able to bend with their fate, to endure hard times or even to benefit from them. You're called upon to tap the deepest stratum of your identity, which is stronger than fate and incorruptible. Just move that out a bit there. So even the harshest realities can't break you, but during hard times or difficult times, it's especially essential to tap into that wellspring of your human endurance, that of hope. Now, in one sense, there's no such thing as failure. There's only sweet and sour reality. Often more is learned from the sour than from the sweet, isn't it? As for our own failures, as hard as they may be to accept, they can open our eyes, reawaking a clarity of vision only known by those who have risked and tasted disappointment. Now, this clarity of learning is the silver lining of the dark clouds. When you are in the throes of difficult circumstances, it is important to be strong on the inside while remaining quietly cheerful on the outside. Avoid talking too much, except to your closest friends. Your words will have little effect on most others, since your influence will be at a low ebb, and aimless talking costs you vital energy. Now, for those who dare to live fully and completely, failure, the final taboo in modern society, isn't it? Not allowed to fail at anything. Everyone gets a trophy for everything. But it is nevertheless one part of the inevitable cycle of life's ups and downs. To never fail is to fail in the biggest possible way. By avoiding risk altogether, you will always fall far short of what could have been. Now, I am going to go to the diametrically opposed side of this spread to have a look at this card here. Now, this is actually, I think this has got a lot to say following that card that came up there, which was talking about, perhaps a minor defeat, but let's have a look at it in any way. Now, there's a rune and there's an ancient biblical letter. There's the sign of Neptune, which does govern this card, incidentally. Now, first of all, here we have the Hanged Man. Now, the picture there is of Odin. Odin is the king of the Norse gods, and he's hanging upside down. What we can say, just let me say something else about this picture here, just as I do it. The Hanged Man is actually Odin of Scandinavian myth, really, in this card. This rainbow here implies water. Its colors also correspond on the Hanged Man's bodies to the chakras, that is, those yogic points of energy in the human physique. The Hanged Man's hair seems to merge into the ground like the roots of a tree. On one side shines a crescent moon, symbol of the high priestess, perhaps, goddess of mystery. On the other side appear Odin's twin ravens, Hugin and Munin, thought and memory. Ravens signify death, and thus bring information from the other world into this world. Now, you might ask yourself, why is he hanging upside down? Well, the actual rune here has, the runic and Scandinavian influence has something to do with it. Odin was the seeker of wisdom. At one time he pulled his own eye out because that was what was said the price to gain wisdom. He wanted to know what the runes meant, and it was said that he had to hang upside down from this tree, which is, I'll call it the world tree, the upper branches of which lived all of the gods. He had to hang upside down from the tree, suspended, not eating or drinking anything for 9 days and 9 nights, and staring into a well underneath, which was the Well of Erd. Now, the Well of Erd, within it lived 3 old women known as the Norns, and the Norns basically wove the fates of all people and of the gods themselves, interestingly, in Norse mythology. And only by hanging upside down for 9 days and 9 nights did the runes finally make their way up through the well to the surface of the water and make their meanings known to Odin. Well, there's a lot of water in this card, isn't there, as I've just discussed. And the reason why there is water there is because I see the planet Neptune as being here, the watery planet of Neptune. It's also associated with Venus, your planet, because there's lots of green in this card here, which is really one of the esoteric colors of Venus. Now, I think that this is saying to you that there's going to be new perspectives that are coming your way here. It's about metamorphosis. It's about change, possibly experiencing a spiritual advancement in a way. But going through change, I think what's also important to say is that you are going to have the opportunity to redeem yourself in a situation that has turned sour. I was talking about sweet and sour before. We now have the opportunity to put things right, which is like bringing light into the darkness. Or you're going to be bringing light onto something. It's almost as if the enlightened is descending down here. I think that the energy here is implying, because of the watery nature of the card, which certainly in Jewish and Christian scriptures, water represents spirituality. The emotions, I think this card is saying, are like water and they should flow. Now, you can have redemption or repair of a situation that is related to an emotional event or to any transgressions which you might have made emotionally. I think it's also the case that you may well find that you are breaking free of any fixed perspectives or attitudes or beliefs, any repetitive patterns. And it's possible that secrets are going to be exposed. Certainly, now is the time for you, and I think you will lose emotional ties to guilt from past events. The need to give up something lesser for something more fulfilling is also what is going to be called upon, I think, for you this month. I'd have this thought in mind, really, and it is, I value breaking ineffective old patterns. I trust and have deep faith in the essence of who I am. I surrender to the higher path and to the will of the divine. A really great card to have, particularly given that one that went before it. Now, let's have a look to see what these other symbols are on here, shall we, quickly? Well, we were talking about Odin's discovery of the runes. This rune here is T-Wars, and it represents honor, justice, leadership, and authority. So I think you will be showing leadership and you will be speaking from a position of authority during this month. Also about analysis and rationality, and also about knowing where your true strengths lie. There is a willingness to sacrifice or to make sacrifices to get things that are better. And I think there's also victory and success coming your way in any competition. And if you're involved in legal matters, I think that is what's going to come about as well. Well, going along with the theme of water, this is an ancient biblical Hebrew letter meme, which of course means water, or more particularly the waters of wisdom, of knowledge, and those contained in sacred scriptures such as the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the Hebrew Bible, the New Testament in the Christian tradition. I think that this symbol represents both waters and manifestation. It is the ability to dive deep into the wisdom. Look, it's said that in every person is the thirst for the words of the Creator, which are the waters of life. Now, this open meme refers to the revealed aspects of providence, while the closed meme refers to the concealed part of the celestial rule that nonetheless guides you and all of existence. This letter also represents the time necessary for ripening and indicates to you the importance of balanced emotions and humility. There's probably a lot more I could say about it, but I won't. Well, I will say that the meme also teaches us about balanced emotions, balancing the water emotions of our feelings, and it is about humility also. Water is the substance that always runs downhill to the lowest place. Let's have a look to see what else there is around here. There's a couple of things going. Let's see this. Where are we? You need to come out a little bit. Good-o. You see that? Well, just having a look at the image here, the thrusting spears are an image of bursting energy, really, aren't they? The tree reflects the energy and also is the power of nature. There's a lot of courage, I think, here as well, that's coming along your way, and you'll have the courage to be doing things and standing up for yourself, and there was the need to stand up for yourself there in that 5. Look, this is the Lord of great strength. It is the moon ruling the second decan of Sagittarius. Now in the number 9 here, esoterically, I also have the moon associated with the number 9, so we have a double lunar influence as the moon rules both the second decan of Sagittarius, as I see it here, the moon ruling Sagittarius second decan, the 3rd to the 12th of December, and also this number 9. So we have a situation where there's power, and again, looking at this number, this title down here, that there is power gained through unifying conscious and unconscious energies, a wholeness, a determination, a strength of character, courage under fire and defending what you have and what you have worked for. And isn't that you? That's what is your great strength. You want to hang on to the things that you've got. Look, you know, I will say this about it as well, that I think that this is going to be calling upon you, and this is about you really reaching deep into yourself to discover new depths of strength and power that you probably thought you never had. Now, you may encounter obstacles, as we've seen, but you'll have the strength to overcome them. Now, when this card appears in this situation, and I'm so glad that it's on this same line as this number 5 that we were looking at here, which could have caused some concerns, then I think it's saying that you can be reassured that what it takes to get by. Now, even in times of difficulty and stress, inner strength is going to rise up and really guide you towards your goal. In the process, you'll learn a lot more about yourself and about your abilities, and gaining a new all-round perspective which brings security and self-confidence, I think. And I think that you'll be able to say during this month, I know more and more clearly who I am. This recognition leads to the full development of my potential strength. Now, this theme is really backed up by this I Ching that's sitting here. What's this? We've got they're all broken except for that second last one. Well, this is it's really talking about organized discipline. Discipline is symbolized by water under the earth, as we see here, water under the earth. A vital resource that is available but hidden, requiring effort to access. This potential can be drawn upon in times of need, and once it is accessed and applied, great things can be accomplished with some organized discipline. Do you know, the most successful leader is not the one who triumphs on the battlefield, but the one who is able, through strength of discipline and inner power, to achieve conciliation without spilling blood. And if you hold or aspire to a position of leadership, remember that the true leader captures the hearts of the people by articulating the clear vision that binds them together. Now let's have a look at this card here. Well, I'll say this and then I'll get to the central card. This is the Ace of Swords. Now, the Ace of Swords is really saying that there is something in this period which is going to provide you with a great degree of mental clarity. You're going to have a breakthrough moment, an aha moment, I suppose you would say. It is, you can see all these clouds of air coming through there. You will at last come to the realization of something that's been holding you back, or how to approach something. I think the people that are going to be important to you during this period, or you're likely to run across, include, I'm looking at it here, I'd say Aquarius. I would also say Pisces. Yeah. I'm just thinking what there might also be here. Probably a Capricorn is around as well. So they're the energies that I'm getting, and things that you'll be doing things or thinking through. But what the most important aspect of this is to say that you will at last have mental clarity on an issue that's been presenting itself to you. Now here we have the Father of Wands in the East, depicted as Brahma, the Hindu god. Incidentally, For those who may be under the misapprehension, Hinduism is actually a monotheistic religion. It just believes it believes in one God. It's just that God manifests itself in a number of different ways, and these are somehow personified or made more understandable by the public and by ordinary people as being, say in this case, the god Brahma. Well, in this case, the god Brahma is he is the creator in the Hindu Trinity, I suppose. The Trinity is Brahma as a creator, Vishnu, the preserver of the universe, and Shiva, the god who destroys and brings about renewal. He brings about renewal. He has 4 arms representing power beyond human limitations. His 4 faces seem to blend, don't they? The cord on his chest and the white cloth signify the priestly caste, I would say. The scroll in one hand is religious text. A cup holds milk, and a spoon is to stir the milk over the sacred fire. Well, what can we say about this character here? Well, I'll say that what this is doing is it's suggesting to me, and the message that I'm getting from it is that you may well find that there could well be quite startling or revolutionary things going on and events going on around you at this time, but you should remain cool, collected, resolute, and energetic, and be careful of the actions that you take. Don't do anything that hasn't been well thought out, but go forward with an alert confidence in your ability. This is sort of something different to, I think, how this energy of this person, not the god Brahma, but this personal energy from a court card comes up, is because I don't think he has the ability to adapt to circumstances. He's ill-fitted to carry on an action after he's started going. He's unable to modify activity. It's almost as if there's one shot in the barrel of his gun, and so be careful of that. Be careful that you are able to continue to adapt to circumstances that are around you. I think that this is also really reminding you to find your vitality and to trust your gut instinct at the moment. Not to over-intellectualize things. Also, let your hair down. Give yourself something of a pep talk and believe that you can do it. Now, I also see kind of job changes around here, and I also see your creative ideas being brought into action, and of you having the courage of your convictions. See, everything's beating up on this card here. So having the courage of your convictions here. I think that what we also see is that there may be a situation where there needs to be swift, strong action taken. Or maybe you need a virtuous goal to focus upon. Look, be awake, be ready for people or situations which could produce dynamic changes in your consciousness. Be grateful for this gift from existence. Receive it, and don't cling to it. Now ask yourself, does your present situation allow your energies to develop and unfold fully? And if not, what must be removed or changed to allow that to happen? You should seek out situations and opportunities that challenge you. Engage them with all of your energy, and remember this and hold this in mind. Every challenge which arises helps me grow. Every storm strengthens my roots. Well, that's the way it is for you this month. Well, there you go, the month of July 2020, and it looks as if there's going to be great things in store for you, and that's great to hear because you deserve good things to happen to you. You certainly do. Look, you were fantastic during that reading, as you always are, and really, there's really only one thing left for me to say, and it is this, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.